station, 1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, thank you for tuning in. It is 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Beautiful. Just a beautiful Thursday morning, Robin. Wow, Thursday already. Where are you? How come I don't hear you on there? Okay, I think I have the wrong button pushed. We're in new studios here, and I'm still using that as an excuse as to why I'm hitting the wrong buttons over here.
Yeah.
Let me use the fact that we're in a new studio to make a point here. This is a new studio. It was designed by two men, Joe and Dan, father and son.
Yep.
Right? They took out the paper and their whatever tools they used to draw the lines and make the decisions about all of it. The bottom line is, when it was all done, it was just a bunch of walls until you ladies decided to make a big difference, right? And I'm telling you, a home isn't really a home. You know what I've often said? I know we're not even close to the Christmas season, but I've often said, thank God for women. There'd be no Christmas if it wasn't for women.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, really, you make houses into homes, you make offices into better offices, and I really think the holidays are made by you. And for some reason, we've got this funny way in society of making fun and making light of people who've got talents, and I think being feminine is a cool thing. Not that I want to be.
Oh,
just so you know. And I know us men are supposed to have a feminine side. Well, I don't want you to ever see it. If I have it, it's something I hide. God, that sounded weird, didn't it? Leela Francis is on the phone. She's the founder of Vividly Woman, and she's written a book. It's called Woman's Way Home, Navigating Your Path to Embodied Power. And, man, she makes some really good points in this book. And she's on the phone waiting patiently, and she was trying to call in during the golf show, and so I had to apologize. Hopefully she can hear me well. Leela, good morning. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Hi, Larry. Thank you for having me.
There you are. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am near Spokane, Washington today.
Oh, wow. So thank you for getting up early as well.
Mm-hmm. I am up early. But it was worth it for you guys.
The part of my intro that I wanted to kind of start with is the fact that sometimes it's almost like made fun of. It's probably not the right way to say that. And I noticed that sometimes women will try to overcompensate because of this stupid thing we do as a society. I'm not sure, like women drivers. You always hear about the women drivers, right? Well, who's really in the most wrecks? It's really men. Right?
So true. That is so true.
So,
yeah. What's wrong with women drivers anyway?
Well,
that's right.
I think every driver is good or bad. I don't think it has anything to do with what's between your legs.
Well, I'm glad somebody figured that
out. So tell me about the book, and then we'll take it from there. And I have a woman in the room to help me with this. So
I'm here.
Fantastic. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Okay, well, Women's Way Home is really a wonderful opportunity for women to come home to the power that lives in their bodies, in our bodies, in your bodies. You know, it's about discovering that our power is not out there. It's not about outsourcing. It's about coming inside, learning to love the creatures that we are, and radiating that out into the world. And that's what Women's Way Home is full of, all the pages of.
And it seems like some societies throughout history have done a pretty good job of showing respect for everybody, but showing respect for women and not putting them in the back seat, so to speak. But I think the society that we come from needed a lot of improvement in that area, and hopefully we're heading that way. I mean, I think in America we've made great strides compared to many other countries in the world.
That's true. There are many places in this world where women are still suffering profoundly, but the fact is, and I really make this point in a compassionate way, is that while many women who don't have the rights and the opportunities and the wealth that we do are being violated and suppressed, it's very sad that women in the developed world like us, who do have the means and the opportunities and the wealth, are actually very often committing this very similar violence and suppression against ourselves by not honoring our sensual, our emotional, and our intuitive power.
I wonder why that is. And did you explore the why part of that?
I certainly do. I know from my own life and a lot of the women that I work with through the Vividly Woman Embodied Leader training that you can find out more about at vividlywoman.com, most of us are living a life where we're asking ourselves this question over and over each day. And the question is, who do I have to be and how do I have to be in order to be loved? And then instead of being the truth of who we are and really staying home in our body and listening to that truth, we become the kind of person that our partners will love, our children will love, society will love, our professional colleagues will love over and over and over. Robin, can you relate to any of that?
Oh, certainly. I certainly can. And what you're describing is one of the topics you touch on in your book about the mood goddess.
Yeah, the mood goddess is a wonderful practice. It allows us to feel the truth of what we're feeling instead of compartmentalizing it away, and just giving that mood or that feeling a life of its own so that we don't feel so consumed by it and we can have more of a relationship with it. We can dance with it.
And you also advocate the use of intuition for the woman, not to second guess, but to just follow.
Absolutely. Intuition is so important for us as women. We're so well endowed with it. And I don't know about you guys, but a vital part of every day of my life is decision making. And it's absolutely crucial to be able to distinguish between when I'm being guided by my ego and when I'm being guided by my intuition. And when we can distinguish, then we can make a choice. For instance, I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. I have to decide which dress I'm going to wear. I actually posted this on Facebook. I posted 4 dresses of myself and asked my Facebook friends to vote on them.
Oh, wow.
And ultimately what it comes I got about 100 hits on that one post. Okay.
Susie Cohen does that. But Susie Cohen is what do we call her? She's a pharmacist. But she writes for the Chicago Tribune, and we happen to know her. And every once in a while, she will post some photos of her with different clothes on. I don't say anything. I just leave it alone.
Oh, you're safe.
Yeah. I'm guessing women were the ones who mostly responded to your call, or did you have some guys? Yeah.
Well, you're right. Women mostly did, but some of the comments that guys made were very flattering and very sweet. I'll tell you, I'm not going to forget them very soon. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll start making comments.
So, Larry, so I suggest that you make very flattering, very loving comments. Like, who needs clothes when you're as beautiful as you are? That kind of thing.
Who needs clothes?
When you're as
that'll go over well. I don't know why you need clothing at all. Let's talk about that just for a second. Let's talk about the whole sexy thing, because when we look at, let me say, when men look at women and this trigger goes off when there's a sexy element to it, we become judgmental. I was reading this article this morning on women we should avoid, and they were naming some really sexy famous women, okay, and they were saying you're going to be attracted to them like sirens in the sea, that what was that, Greek myth, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But stay away because, and then it went on this whole list of things, and look for somebody who looks more like your mother. It was going on and on. And then what's wrong with being like a mother? I think mothers are great.
Moms
you've got to be kidding. How old was this? When was this article written? It sounds pretty ancient.
Oh, really? Go to askmen.com today.
Okay. Well, you bring up an important point. Now, sensual power and our connection to our vitality and our, erotic nature. Those are all parts. They're not all of sensual power, but they're part of sensual power. And when a woman is living in the light aspect, there's always a light aspect and a shadow aspect. When a woman's in the light aspect, she's harnessing that power. You can feel that she's loving being in her body, not because it's attracting attention, but it's because she's connected. That kind of a woman is very sexy and she's very attractive. A kind of woman who is flaunting and leaking her sexuality is in the shadow aspect of her sensual power. And I do indeed recommend that you not get too involved with that kind of woman, because she's not very secure and she's not very empowered. She gets her power by what other people think of her. And that is not power.
But I often feel, and this is again from a guy's perspective, that if I'm with a woman who is just so obviously pretty or beautiful, And that's not why she's here, at least not in this studio. She's here to talk about her PhD in psychology, or she's here to talk about something more important than me, ogling her or complimenting her beauty. So I know to avoid that, but it's so hard. And Robin knows me, so she knows somewhere in the interview it's going to come up. By the way, you look hot,
That's right.
But the truth is, I mean, I can imagine like if you were famous for something, like Henry Winkler was famous for Fonzie, right?
Uh-huh.
I can imagine it gets old after a while being told you're pretty. And could you please look at something else that I've done, like this book I've written, or and in fact that actually applies to you. I saw your picture, so
yeah, she's hot.
yeah, so. Yeah, so
Are you flirting with me?
I am, yes, and Robin knows it.
Okay, well, I agree that to be valued for the way that you look, only that can be disturbing. So what I suggest to you as a man, and this is the central to what I teach women. And men are like women in a lot of ways. You have a body just like women do.
No, I don't have a body just like women.
Not just like women, but a body.
If I did, I'd stay home all day with a mirror.
You need to honor the attraction that you have for the women around you. If you suppress it, and if you leave your body and go up into your head, you're not being present. So what I teach women to do is to tolerate feelings and emotions in our body instead of running away into our head.
All right.
And that you need to tolerate your attraction for other women instead of, blurting it out or making it central to what you do. You need to be home in your own body, tolerate those sensations, and they will subside, they will dissolve, they will become not central any longer to your relating to that woman.
All right.
Does that make sense?
It did. I'm trying to. The book is called Woman's Way Home. It's written by our guest Leela Francis, and she's the founder of Vividly Woman Embodied Leader Training. So tell me about the organization that I just named.
Okay, well, Vividly Woman is a community of women who are devoted and passionate about living into our greatest dreams and our power now. The training is made up of 4 live modules that take place all over North America and down in Mexico. And, of course, I won't have time to tell you all about it, so please visit vividlywoman.com. But the important thing to know about our training is that it's all experiential. And we strongly, strongly believe that for women to come into our power, we need to be in our body. We need to learn to stay home in our body where our sensual, emotional, and intuitive power live. In Woman's Way Home, I take you through every component of the Vividly Woman training so that from your home you can learn about it, and you can also do exercises that will help you experience the power in each of the elements of the training.
I like how you use archetypes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but toward the end of your book, and that how you chose the heron for the animal, because I think the heron is such a beautiful bird, and it's very visual as to what you're trying to express as the feeling.
Yes, the heron is the animal archetype for emotional power. And if you think of it, the huge wing expanse of the heron, opening and closing, and how the bird has to open their wings but also close their wings in order to fly. Well, emotional power is the same way. We need to honor the opening of the heart, where we're open, we're alive, we're integrating, we're relating to people. But we also, especially as women, we need to honor those phases where we need to close our wings and go into that more alone and solitude place, and sometimes even into a dark place that isn't so bright and happy, in order to come back to ourselves and honor those dark and down places. And this is vital for women to know that we have permission, and we give ourselves permission to go into those, darker places in ourselves. We call those shadow, because that's where we really learn more about who we are, and we peel off layers of having to be anybody to win anybody's love.
The one thing that differs from men and women in this life experience is that, okay, as children, we're pretty much on the same path, and we get to high school, and it's pretty much the same. And then out of college, maybe it's the same. We both go for careers. And then when you get married, there's a big difference, because then that's when a woman has this difficult decision. Do I continue my career or do I stay home? Whereas men, it's kind of in stone. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing what you started doing. And then for the women, it gets even more multi-directional, because as the kids get older and they start going to school, she's becoming, you hear this all the time. I'm a mom, I'm a taxi driver, I'm a lady of the night at nighttime.
That's right.
Yeah, there's all these different roles, and men pretty much go to work, come home, eat, and go to bed. So,
You're right.
Have we made it difficult for women by doing that? To expect women to do all those things?
Well, you know what? I don't think it's a question of who's expecting it of women. Women have fought for the right to have careers, for many, many years, and now we have it. But the reality is that probably we need more help in the arenas of back at home. And so many women are wearing so many different hats, and their heads are spinning, and they justify all of that as the reason why they don't, or we don't, have time to attend to the things that really nourish us, like tending to our body, taking bubble baths, taking those quiet times. Women, that raise children often spend 20 years of their lives living for other people. But in a lot of ways, there is a level of that's an excuse. And so what I do in Vividly Women is I teach women to set a new standard for themselves. We can't wait for somebody else to give us permission. We have to give ourselves permission, and we have to set that standard. And that's why taking some time away and coming to a live retreat and being in a beautiful setting where you're honored and pampered, that's what we do at the Mexico retreat, is so, so vital. And it really does reset the bar for women. They go home and they realize that nobody else can give them permission to step into a bath and, honor themselves with beautiful fragrances and take a walk in the park, that they have to choose that for themselves.
Wow, and without feeling guilty.
Exactly.
Just enjoy feeling good, right?
Well, that would be beautiful if it were true, but sometimes there will be guilt. And then what I teach women to do is to be able to tolerate even the feelings and sensations of guilt.
Oh, really?
We have to embrace all the feelings, Larry. We have to embrace all of them. And in Woman's Way Home, we really learn that when we reject any feeling and any emotion, we create more suffering for ourselves.
I'm guessing,
embrace them all.
I'm guessing there's probably no blanket statement that's true, but I have an example of something I want to tell you about. I've always thought that this whole massage thing was more for women. I have no desire to have a massage at all. And this comes up a lot because every once in a while we'll have a sponsor that's a massage therapist, and she, it's usually a lady, will be in here and talk, and they're all, come on, you got to, I don't need one. I don't need a massage. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, this is something ladies like, and whatever. So I'm watching Samantha Brown on the Travel Channel, and I know she's been off the air for a while because she had twins, whatever. But I watched a thing that they produced. Do you know who she is, by the way? Samantha?
No, I don't. I don't watch the Travel Channel.
Okay. Well, she's this young woman, and she travels all around the world, and she says, oh, this is what Paris is like, this is what Belgium is like, et cetera, et cetera. And she goes to all these places and gets the good food, gets the good treatment, and there she is lying on her belly with a towel, and she's getting stones and she's getting rubbed, right? And she looks like
what a life.
She looks like she's having a good time. So then they have this episode where it's behind the scenes in traveling with her. Okay, so now she says to the camera, "You know the scenes I did where I look like I was having a good time? I hate massages." She tells the audience, "I hate massages. I was faking it." So that's why I'm saying there's no blanket statement that's true.
Right.
Just to think that one thing is good for everybody is never going to be true, right?
Well, across the board, absolutely. We can't peg anybody. We have to be open to, learning, listening, feeling, sensing into each other. And this is an important piece for men. I'll give you a little tip, Larry.
A little tip.
It's part of my next book.
I like when she says my name, by the way.
Yeah. It's on tape. We got it recorded.
if you want to really make earn points with your lady, you need to sense into what she's experiencing. You know, when we say that men need to be sensitive, what we really mean is we don't mean you need to cry at movies. We mean that you need to be really sensitive to your beautiful goddess. And you need to sense into what she's feeling. You don't need to fix it, but you need to let her know that you get her. And you do that by sensing into what she's feeling and knowing that she will be different from one moment to the next.
And does this come from conversation, from communication? I mean, how do you know?
Well, you know how you know is that you get connected with your own body and you start paying attention to the sensations in your own body, and that's going to help you notice what's happening with her. And that's what I teach in Vividly Woman, is I teach women how to be connected to the truth of their body, because your body is always talking to you. It's always telling you the truth. When you go up into your head...
I know mine is. Mine's always talking to me.
Well, that also, you also speak about the inner self. You speak about spirituality, and then you speak about how it relates to music, and that was very fascinating for me.
Because dance is so vital. Dance really frees us and opens our body and gives us more opportunity to actually sense what's going on. So choosing music in a way that supports different moods and different feelings really helps your body to open more. So at the back of Woman's Way Home, you'll find a whole section that supports you, that gives you music suggestions and movement suggestions so that you can explore and become freer, body, heart, and soul.
And you know what's interesting, and I don't mean to compare human beings to animals, but we all know this instinctively about animals. We know that this animal has this type of a personality and is going to be able to serve us because of its ability to do this. You know, whether it's a horse or a cow. You know what I'm talking about, the animals that we use, I guess we would say. So as we use each other, men and women use each other, I mean, it would only make sense to say, well, this is how women are. This is what they're good at. And it kind of goes back to, and I'm not saying no man could have decorated this studio, but no man did.
Well, who needs a man when you've got beautiful women around to do the job, right?
and really, for me, that was all we really needed to decorate the place, was a few beautiful women.
That's right.
They didn't need to hang up any pictures or put any plants in here.
They were decoration themselves.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I have a copy of the book. It's called Woman's Way Home. It's written by Leela Francis. You will love the book. It is a sensual book, by the way, and I will give it away to the first person who asks for it. You need to call me at the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. It'll be waiting for you. Leela, how do the rest of us go get this? You have a website. You told me vividlywoman.com, right?
Please go to vividlywoman.com and you will find directions to a page that's all about the book, where you'll be able to get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And I also invite anybody that has any questions. I'm available. Email me at info@vividlywoman.com. I love to have a dialogue with you. And if you email, I'll also send you an assessment that I recently put together where you can determine whether you're treating your body like a machine or a temple. And I'd love to send that to you, and you can see for yourself how close you are to one extreme or the other. Info@vividlywoman.com.
And you are extremely, extremely honest in your book. You don't advocate that if women of weight go down to be, toothpicks and things like that. You are always encouraging to every woman, no matter what their body type is or what their emotional needs are.
Oh, no. Women need to love themselves. We need to love ourselves despite what shape or size we are. And that's the first, the first step. If you want to attract more people to you, more customers, the ideal relationship, you need to love yourself first. And what causes the greatest suffering for women is self-betrayal, is not loving ourselves and not honoring the truth of who we are and trying to fit into somebody else's version of what the perfect woman looks like, talks like, dresses like, on and on and on. So in Women's Way Home, you're going to discover that there's lots of women like you out there, and they've had the courage to step forward and be themselves vividly. And that's really one of the Vividly Woman battle cries is be yourself vividly.
All right. Yesterday, I answered a questionnaire. They were asking me, the person who issued it was asking me, what kind of guests do you want? And one of the things I could check off was women's issues. So I checked it yesterday because I said, maybe we don't have enough of that. And so good. We've got it today. We had you booked before I even made that little check mark. Woman's Way Home. Leela, it's been a joy talking to you. Thank you so much for being on there, getting up early on the West Coast. And, hey, next time you're in Florida, come into the studio.
I certainly will. I would love to meet you, Larry, and you, Robin, and I look forward to that.
All right. We broadcast from the mall, so you'll see lots of people walking by.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love to shop. Thank you so very much to both of you.
Thank you, Leela. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 20.